Hello, everybody. I hope you're all here or arriving shortly. It is good to see you. I remember last week I had a kidney stone, and this week I've got more testing to do. So, anyway, kind of got wild hair today. But hey, what can you do? So, hello, everybody. What I'm working on today is the art quilt that I'm going to do today is one I've promised a wonderful artistic young man who did a beautiful line drawing of his two dogs. Isn't that great? So I promised him I'd make him a art quilt of his two pups. So let me get ready to show you what we've got. So I see 4 people are in. That's great. Good to see you. So, all right, let me get ready and show you what I'm working on. And because I had to jump back into this. I tell you what, with things the way they are and so uncertain, sometimes you need your regularity. You need your art, your quilting, whatever. So, hello, Francis Adcock. Very nice to see you. Hello. And I want to tell you something really quick while I'm at it. I ordered this velvety type of elastic from Amazon, and we love it. Because, I was using the white elastic. I've got this giant roll of it. And I was using this, but it kind of makes your ear stick out funny, and it just didn't feel comfortable. So I started looking up. I heard of people talking about comfort elastic, and I thought, wow, if you've got to wear these masks, you might as well see. This stuff is wonderful. So let me show you. It stretches, but it feels velvety. I wish you could see the texture. But I'm really tickled with it. So, I'll tell you what, I have been sewing them on upstairs by hand, and that's nice. It's nice to have something to do in the evenings. But I just wanted to tell you, I got 30 yards, was about $11.99, I think, something like that. And I highly recommend it. So if you have been making your own mask and are looking for a more comfortable type of elastic, look for, I'm trying to remember, I think it's Comfort Elastic or it's something like that. And it is really, really nice. All right, so now let me show you. We'll go over and I'll show you what I'm working on. So I found out, Francis, it's so nice that you're here. Nice to see you, sweetie. Okay, let me move my computer where I can see it so that if you pop in, I can say hello. So this is what I'm working on. I got my piece. I'm doing this art quilt like I do all of my other art quilts, landscape quilt. I've got a piece of muslin. I ironed it really well, and I starched it. And then I started gathering my fabrics. These 2 dogs are in a setting where there's a little bit of grass and then it's more dirt in the front. So what I did is I found this is a Stonehenge fabric, and I love it because it's got the waves of color. And so I put that where there's a little bit of grass showing, but it is such a versatile. I've used this fabric so many times, so if I see it again, I'm going to grab some more. But then what I did is I said, okay, when you're doing, hello, you quilt too. Hello, Teresa Louise. Oh, Diane 57 sent you. Wonderful, wonderful. Oh, well, thank you, Francis. And thank you for speaking up. Because when I have seen you a couple of times in here with the videos, I am always happy to invite you to join our special group. We used to have a Yahoo group. Now we have a Groups IO, and we do lots of fun chatting and sharing of patterns there. So when I have noticed your name for a couple times in a row, I will send you our email. You send me an email, and I'll send you an invitation to our group. So it's so nice to see you. So, but what I did is I put this is where the green's going to be. And I like that the other colors in here were kind of pale. Then a way to show depth perception in your art quilt or landscape quilt is you start lighter farther away and you move increasingly to the darker. And then if you do that, you also look for texture. So let me see if I can show you this texture here. Let me try to get it in a little bit closer. But you can see that I increased the texture the closer you got to the front. So I just took all of these strips. This one I cut at an angle to kind of show the grass that I put in. These, I just tore the strips. So they're a little fuzzy along the edge. They're a little fuzzy, which gives it a little softer edge. And I take a little bit of school glue and I school glue the strips on the muslin, okay? Then I press it. I give it a good iron to help dry the glue. Then I took it to my sewing machine, and let me show you what I used to sew the strips on. I used this YLI monofilament, and it's an invisible thread. I put regular thread in my bobbin. Whoops, down here, regular thread in my bobbin. The invisible thread up here, and then I stitched with a zigzag. I'm so glad you love learning. This is so easy. I always tell people, if you can cut and paste like a kindergartner, you can do this. And so I've zigzagged all the edges down. Now when I pick it up, it stays in place, which is always nice. Now, what I'm going to do later on, when I get the dogs done, I will then do thread painting and make it look like more like dirt and clumps of dry grass and the clumps of live grass. So I just do it. Hi, Grand, Alexis is here. So I just do it a stage at a time. Okay. So now, let me get a lamp over here. We're going to install more lighting in here because I told Mark I really need people to be able to see a little better. Okay. Here we go. All right. So hopefully that helps you see a little better. And here is the drawing that I'm working from. And let me show you what I'm drawing with. Let me get this all smoothed out. Okay. And in fact, let me show you very quickly. There's the original photograph. And you can see there'll be lots of fun things for me, lots of fun clumps of grass and stuff to do thread painting with once I'm done with this. So now, let me see. Okay, so what I did is I got some of my Taylor chalk in white. I've got a pencil with white eraser. Remember, thank you. Hi, Linda McCollum. And so what I've done is I even have an ink pen, because one thing I want to do, I'm going to be covering the dogs with fabric, and I want to make sure I don't lose the drawing. But then so first I chalk draw it, then I come over it with a pencil, Then I come last. When I'm happy with my lines, I come last with an ink pen. Okay, because, it's really hard to remove ink pen. And I guess you could try it with alcohol, but it's hard to do. So now let me tell you. So I've told you this part's easy. This is cut and pasting. Hi, Diana Wright. I'm doing pretty good, Diana. Thank you for asking. I had to tell my son today. So that was always hard, but I didn't want to tell him. For any of you who might not know, I had what I thought was a kidney stone last week. So my doctor said, I want to send you in for an ultrasound and make sure your kidneys is in good shape. Well, they found a spot on it. So I've got to go in a week or so. I've got to go in for an MRI. But she told me, Deb, don't be afraid, because if it is a hairspray, good one, Teresa Louise, very good. And even if it is cancer, kidney cancer is very easy to treat. They go in laparoscopically and they nip it off and off you go. So trying to stay very upbeat about it. And I've had numerous surgeries in my life, and the fact that they'll do it laparoscopically makes me very happy. And because I have a gallbladder scar that's like 9 inches, goes down, looks like somebody attacked me. But anyway, so think good thoughts. And next week I'll have the MRI. And then by that point, they'll say, okay, this is what we're going to do. But thank goodness in fact, they've got another kidney stone still in there. It's a big one. So maybe if they go in there to do a little haircut on my kidney, it's like, can you get that stone out? Because I don't want that to act up anymore. Thank you. I'm going to stay positive. And you know what? Getting old is a real, because you're just waiting for something to happen. I sometimes feel like that's my job, is going to doctor appointments. But, it could be worse, and I'm staying very positive. But my son and his wife had their second baby this week, and I sure didn't want to tell him this right when he's, having a new baby. But I told him today, I think I was more nervous telling him than anything. Thank you so much. I love your positive thoughts. I am a real big believer in karma and good thoughts flying around. So it means a lot. Thank you. But so I've got a new grandson. That's the exciting part. And so little Donnie was 8 pounds, 1.5 ounces. And he's cute as a button. In fact, Diana, I'm going to put some brand new pictures of him on the site tonight. So I can't wait for y'all to see him. And then this Sunday, we'll show lots of good pictures. So he is a sweetie, and he wants to be held all the time. So they do a lot of holding of him. But anyway, all right. So, hi. What day are you asking? My test next Friday? So, I'll probably have to wait till the early part of the week to get the official results. But my doctor's voice was so positive. I said, I'm staying positive too. So anyway, aren't babies wonderful? So my grandson was born Monday, and they came home from the hospital Wednesday, and he's doing beautifully. And hopefully I'll have all my stuff taken care of by the time that we can go and travel and see him. So that will be really nice. All right. Oh, good for you, Grand. I'm so proud of you. Good job. And I tell you, as soon as if you get a chance to do any more work on your chromatron, whatever, I can't wait to see it. But good for you for writing your story. I love that. Creativity is the best thing for your heart and soul. I truly believe it. Oh, thank you. That's so cute. Oh, I love to think of that. Chromium. I'm sorry, sweetie. I try hard, don't I? But I always get something wrong with them. But I love your talent. We had 2 new ladies in here tonight, Teresa Louise and with Linda McCullum. I think I've seen Linda before, but who is that person? Frances Adcock. So I'm so excited to see you new ladies. So anyway, let me get back to this. can't wait to show you. Hold on just a second. Okay, I want to make sure to get down to the bottom so I can see what you're saying. Here is the photo I'm using to trace it. And as you can see, this is on an 8.5 by 10.5 piece of paper. And I am putting it on, let me see what I never measure. I just, tear or cut. So this is about an 18 by, let's see, how long is this? I don't think it's quite 24. 18 by 22. So this is an 18 by 22 fabric. So now we're looking at it and we think, okay, then how do we turn this size picture into this bigger canvas? What I do is what I always do when I'm trying to copy a picture. And what I do is I take it and I fold it in half. And if you want, you can iron it to get a nice sharp crease. And then fold it in half this way. Okay? Iron it again. Nice sharp crease. Then take and fold it this way. So you're folding it opposite ways each time. But what you're trying to do is you're just trying to make about a good 16 even squares. Okay, so now I'll fold it one last time this way and give it a really good press because that's a thick piece, that's thick paper. All right, I think it's done. So now when you take and open up, now don't do this to your good copy. Make a copy on your printer because like if you had a photograph, you wouldn't want to hurt your photograph. But see now how I have 16 sharp divisions, okay? I'm so glad when I see new names and faces in here. This is wonderful. So now I'm putting it here so I can look. And that way I can just watch and follow what I've done. Now, here is the pup I did first. And he was actually the easier one. The pup below, oh, that would be neat. An embroidery of a game. Wow. That's cool. That gives you something really good to work on. I love working on puzzles. That, to me, trying to solve something, whether it's how to make a certain quilt or a design, anything. It's like working on solving a puzzle. I guess that's why I like mysteries, All right. So what I do with this fabric is take and fold it in half. And then come along, give it a very sharp pressing. Oh, thank you, Jody. The dog background is like a backyard where it has some grass in the distance and then has dirt in the foreground. So I said, well, let me make it simple. The young man who did this, he is a talented young artist, and he loves simplistic things. He loves line drawings. And so what I'm trying to do is to make him this, keeping to some of his sensibilities, but still adding some of mine. So that's why I did the background in line drawings. And I'm sorry I haven't yet done my favorite childhood memory. This young man has been waiting for this since we had the tree cut down. And I thought, Deb, you just need to jump on this and do it. So, plus, honestly, after having the kidney stone, then I got a UTI, and the sulfur drug that I'm taking for it is making me very queasy. So, I don't feel like being overly creative right now. So for me, this part of this is very straightforward. So now I have 16 sections. And in fact, I'm going to sharpen this line up a little bit here by pressing in here. Now you could take a chalk pencil or a chalk marker, anything you know would come off later, and you could actually draw the grid on the fabric if you wished. But I love pressing because then I can unpress it. And you notice I'm doing in the spaces so I don't overdo the vertical lines I've already pressed in. So now I think you can see it pretty good. So you've got the line, 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 and then up and down this way. So you've got the 16 squares. The reason we do this is, the reason we do this is it's really hard when you're trying to copy something to get the size, the dimensions correct. And it overwhelms people. And there are people who just get frozen and feel like, I can't draw it. I can't handle it. Whoops, turn that sharper. Okay. By doing this, what I do, I only draw what I see in one square at a time. I'll come down here, find the corresponding square on my fabric, which would be this one, is this one. And I draw what I see in that square. And you can even do it into smaller squares. If you're at all nervous, you could make this much smaller. But I try to go, okay, here is the square. The paw stops about halfway down. Halfway. Yep, it's about right here. So the paw stops there. Then I come in here, and here is my last square. I bring this down, come in like this, and down for his tummy. But this way, by breaking it up into pieces, into squares, it's so much easier to get the dimensions right because you only draw what you see in that square, and you can say, okay, in this square, I need to do this, and like, okay, this square down here, I know that about in the middle, here's the line, about in the middle, I'm coming in with the outside of the leg, right here, kind of his shoulder down to his leg. So I come in here about in the middle here, because see how it's in the middle of this? Okay, so I start at the top here, come down about the middle, and then this goes off this way. I come in here, put the next section. Whoops, I made that too long. But see, that's why I use a white eraser. When you get a chance to find any school supplies, get white erasers. The reason I use white erasers is because colored erasers have dyes in them. That's why they're red or blue. If you were to use a red eraser right here, let me see. I've got one right here. If you use a red eraser, often it'll leave pink behind. You can even see that in the camera. You can see that pink that's left behind. So I use a white eraser. That way you have no dye left on your drawing. I learned that the hard way. So anyway, I'm kind of tired tonight, so I don't think I'm going to finish the drawing. This one's tricky. His face is at an angle, and his face is over top his body. So this one had a little more defined face, a little more defined body. He had a more defined face and a more defined body. This, it's like one big circle, and you've got to try to define it. So anyway, but I'm glad you liked the way I did the background. It's going to be a lot of fun doing the dried clumps of grass, the live clumps of grass. I think it'll be a lot of fun, and then I'll be getting this done. So, and these pups are so cute. Another thing I want to show you, the top dog, the dog that I've got right up here, is a black and white dog. So I got white. Now I also have an off-white, because when you're looking at studies, what seems to be white is not necessarily white. And so now I have, there's something drawn in here. That's cute. I must have used this for something and drew on it. But anyway, so I'll have varying shades of white so that I can get that correct. Then I have an absolute black here. So I have all the way black. Then I have a mostly black. And in between. Okay, so I have all the way black. Then this black. Then this black. And you see what I'm doing is I'm coming in lighter and lighter, because a black dog, when you look at the photograph and you break it down, now, isn't that funny? I'm going to have to do a black and white photo of this to see which one's the darkest, which one's the lightest. But then I have what I love, love, love is an ombre of black and white. So that'll give me all kinds of shades in the middle. And then I have 2 grays. So I'm going to probably use a little bit of all of these fabrics just for the black and white dog at the top. So that's what I'm doing. And don't forget, when you draw and you've got it laying down like this, take time to hold it up. That is very important, and make sure your perspective is right. And then when I have the lines, the whole thing is drawn with chalk and pencil, then I will come back and I will use a pen. Now, normally I don't do that, but I've got to be able to know that these lines will not move. I don't really want to use a Sharpie. I'm afraid that'll bleed. But a nice ink, a nice like ballpoint ink pen, so that I make sure that as I'm gluing and taking things on and off, I don't lose my lines. And if I just had pencil or chalk, I'm afraid that when I pull things off and put it back, I then would lose my lines. And I have to be able to know that what I've taken the time to draw will still be there. So, all right. So now, I was kind of going to, I thought that would take up most of my time, and then I was just going to sit and talk. But let me see. I am so glad you love landscapes. Yeah, on our Thursday nights, we take turns between landscapes and art quilts. We've been doing a lot of art quilts lately, and this is kind of a little bit of both. But I love them. It is my favorite way of quilting now. I don't often do the traditional quilts because I'm just drawn to creating photos. In fact, when we're watching TV at night, especially if we're watching nature shows, I'm always, I want to take a picture of that. So, a dog art collage. Oh, that is wonderful. I don't have my printed copy in color because I was going to show you okay, I know what I can show you because I took my Adobe Photoshop program today. Let me turn this one off. Yeah. All right. Whoops. Sorry about that. Okay. Let me show you what I put in my folder because I'm really big on, so I have a big Deb folder. And then inside that folder, I put pictures. Now, let me see if it'll do like a slideshow. Yes, it will. So here's the original of the pups. Okay. All right, here's the original of the two dogs. And I'm just doing this much of them. Okay, so I'm cutting out all the extra. All right. So this is the color. Oh, and you can see here, see with the black dog, you see how very little of him is pure black with the sun shining on him, maybe a little dust in his fur. But look at, there are probably 6 or 8 different colors, shades, tints of black. So then what I did, I took this original picture and I put it in Adobe Photoshop Elements, the photo elements. I saved a copy of it in black and white. The reason I do black and white is I can see values of things. So the values of the dog stand out, but also the value of things on the ground, because adding little leaves and different things will help bring realism to it. All right, so now let's see another way I saved it. This was called outline drawing. And what this did is just highlighted some big shades in it. I mean, shapes in it. So like their outline of their face, if it was a strong outline, things around it. I don't know if that will help me that much, but I like doing it. This is another, it's a version of the outline, but it leaves a more realistic picture. But, you know, it shows you all the hard lines. Where are the hard lines of this photo? So by saving these all in the folder, then I can very easily come find it when it's time, you know, when I'm trying to do a specific part of this. So my folder is really important, and I love checking them. Oops, I think there was another way too. Hold on, let me see. I'm not sure what I did to that one. It might be a sharpened view. Then this view, it was a high contrast view. So I can clearly see where their paws are, their little toes. I can clearly see all of the differences in it. So I save all of these and use all of these. And in this one, you can see the color better. You can see how his ears are lighter than parts of his face and parts of his neck. So it just shows the contrast, and that's very helpful when you're doing a recreation. So I hope that will help you. So by the time I have, because see, this is kind of pale, and it's a little harder to check all of the differences. Okay. All righty. All right. So I'm hoping that will help you. Little tricks of the trade. And all right. Let's see. Here we go. Put that back. I need to stop hitting that button. So anyway, you love their ears, aren't their ears? Their ears are very cute. Oh, good job. Good job. Yeah, it just sometimes helps when you look in your whatever your editing program is. Kind of see what's in there, what might help give you a different look. Because sometimes, like all that ground, it can look the same. But if you save it a different way, it might be really amazing. So, hi, Dora. It's so good to see you. You never end up with what you started with. I know. It kind of like the quilt leads you sometimes, doesn't it? Yep. And I love the phrase, the quilt told me it was done, or the quilt told me what it needed. I love that kind of stuff, because then that means you are really in the zone, the creative zone. So that is fantastic. All right. I might not end up staying the whole time tonight. I've noticed since I have a UTI, I'm having my hot flashes back, and they don't make me feel so good. So I had been lucky and not had many. And now I don't know if it's the medicine I'm taking or what, but it's like, whew, that's not very good. So, but no, I love Art Quilts, and I love for them to take you to see where you're going to go, all the different shades of the fabric. So I will share all of that with you as I work on it this next week. So, but I'm glad I got the background in and got it all. I just did a zigzag stitch with the invisible thread. And let me pull my light over and see. I'm not sure if how well you can see it, but it's so funny too, because some of the invisible thread came off the top of the spool, and it's kind of a mess. And so I was sewing along, and it got tangled in the part that I was using. So I kind of gently untangled it, and I thought, what do I do with this little, pinch of threads that popped off the wrong side of the thing? I took my little scissors, cut them, and I said, Deb, what that means is you're going to get to a part of the thread spool where you only can sew for a little bit, and then boop, there's the end of it, because once you cut in to the winding of the thread, like, have you ever had a dog grab the thread and chew on it? And they break all these threads. I used to try to save them. I don't anymore. It's like, throw it away and get another one, because that is way too hard to deal with. So, yeah, it's so frustrating. Well, thank you. I hate to rush on you guys, but you know what? These hot flashes are making me feel miserable. So, yes, and I've been drinking lemonade too. And I'll just be glad when this is all settled. And, such is life. I mean, to live is to have things happen. And so much of my life is perfect. So I don't think I can complain too much, huh? I mean, when you've got love and you've got roof over your head and you've got food to eat, it's hard to complain. So anyway, thank you for not minding me checking out just a wee bit early. I've been down here since 3, and I think I'm just getting tired out. And I'm telling you, I don't know if I'm going to take another sulfa drug antibiotic, because it doesn't make me feel good. So thank you. I have been through a lot lately, haven't I? Mark said, this is the worst year of our life. And I don't know what it is, but I look at these poor people in the Midwest, as far as Illinois and all those states going further west that had those terrible winds. So the one thing that's been making me happy, don't tell anybody, but I've been watching the Democratic convention every night, and that's been making me feel really good. So that'll be something to go do tonight. And because it's like, I want peace and joy and kumbaya. That's the world I want to live in. No fighting, no fighting. So all of you, take good care of yourselves. I'm sorry to cut this short. I kind of showed you everything I had done to this point. I hope to be on here Sunday. I should be feeling a lot better, because I only started this medicine. I've only been on it a day, so it takes a while. But anyway, take good care of yourselves. Do something special just for you. And I love it. I laid in my hammock yesterday for a couple of hours. It was wonderful. It was just what I needed. So make sure you find some time for yourself. Linda and let me see, who are the new ones? Francis and Linda and Teresa Louise. Please come back again. We loved having you share this time with us. Take good care. Bye-bye. It's good seeing you, Jody. Dora, Diana Wright. Oh, so good. Alexis, it is so good seeing y'all. Take good care and have a good few days. And the weather's cooler here, so hopefully you'll have cooler weather too. Bye-bye, guys. Take good care.